Yes, Black Light here. The analysis of the Aboriginal black woman, also the black man and family. This is about what we on 15, and so far you said, well, what is how you uh, analyzing this? I'm letting you analyze it. I'm giving you real history of the average black woman. She was born in 1880 or somewhere around in there. 1880, not too far out of slavery. I think some of her people were in slavery. Now that's my grandmother, Martha Davis. That's who we've been talking about throughout this series. I'm going slow. I'm taking it in segments. I'm trying to get you the picture that she had 5 children out of wedlock. The only one she had really actually married was her first husband, who was a Indian, and she had to leave him. She never did divorce him, but she ran away from him because he would get drunk. You know how they say Indians cannot hold their fire water, and throw hatchets at her. But when he wasn't drunk, he was all right. So she had to leave him, but she went from him and ran into this pimp who bought her stuff and treated her good. He didn't turn her out on the stroll, though. She wasn't on the stroll. He kept her square. And one of his hoes was jealous of her, and a white hoe, and shot this black pimp and killed him. Now that was my aunt's old man, Juanita. And she turned out to be a pistol. Then she left my aunt's old man. Well, she didn't leave him. He left her because he got shot. I didn't know. I didn't get his name. And uh, she ran into this boxer. I think he was a middleweight boxer on his top ranked contender on his way to uh, winning the championship. But he just, one night stand. Every time he in town, he would look her up. But I think he had a family. Already had a family. And that's how my Uncle Aziz was born. A fighter was his old man. So he was naturally a fighter. It was in his genes to fight. And then she ran into this con man named Ali Lewis. He was a con man and a pimp. And that's how my mother was conceived. Now it's like that today. You know. We talking about well over 70, 100 years ago almost. Of a woman and her offsprings. Ain't nothing changed. It just got worse. Because my Uncle Aziz had gangs. And he used to tell me how his gang used to operate. Now, in them days, they didn't. I don't know what his gang name was, but what he told me, it remind you of the Crips, different gangs like that, Bloods or whatever. Different gangs that back in those days. They had gangs. You ever seen this movie, the Gangs in New York, where it started at, gangs and stuff? Well, uh, what you see happening with my grandmama, all her offsprings, is the black man trying to fit into this system we call America, see. And what brothers don't understand and what they keep forgetting is that they always did have uh, black women who uh, couldn't get along with their men's, had problems. They always did have men who fathered many children out of wedlock. Uh, this is something that happened during slavery. This wasn't our culture. We uh, our original culture wasn't like that. Our original culture wasn't nothing like what you see here in America. Uh, and it's still happening today. And so I don't have to go way back in the past to show you how a black man is destroyed. I could go back to my generation. I could go back to my mother's generation. I could go back to my grandmama's generation. And I could even go back to my grandmama's mother's generation. Because I talked to my grandmother, and she told me about some of those who were enslaved and whatever. You could trace it back to that, you see. And so we're in a war, a psychological war with, as well as a biological war of the white man. So stay tuned. We're still gonna talk about that some more.